here to talk a little bit more
Yeah.
about Lee. And is it strengthening because the waters are just so warm in that area
It's
right
very
now?
warm. This is kind of the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. Around
Okay.
September 9th, September 10th is usually when you see the most activity. But it's, fueling on those warm waters. It may already be a Category 5 hurricane. I've been watching some of the recon data as the airplane flies through this thing. You want to know about a bumpy ride. Those things are wild. But they've measured about 145 knot winds, which is over 160 miles an hour,
Whoa.
which means this might be well above what it was measured at just a few hours ago at 2 o'clock, which was 130 mile an hour sustained winds. Just an extremely well-organized storm. It has rapidly intensified over the last 24 hours, almost perfectly symmetrical. The better it looks on a satellite perspective, the stronger the storm is. That's going to be tracking to the northwest over the next couple of days. Here's the good news. As strong as it is going to be, and right now the current forecast has it strengthened to Category 5 status later on tonight, and then reaching 165 mile an hour sustained winds tomorrow afternoon. Hurricane Dorian was 185 miles an hour when it just camped out over the Bahamas back in 2019. We're approaching that level, but this one looks like it's going to be largely a fish storm, just staying out over the open Atlantic, staying to the north, the island chain of the Caribbean, and then even farther down the line. All of the forecast model data shows it taking a sharp curve to the north and avoiding the east coast of the U.S. But everybody along the east coast is going to be watching this one very carefully. Around here, we are in the midst of just a normal September weather pattern. Very small day-to-day changes as we head through the rest of the work week tomorrow and then into the first half of the weekend. A little bit of a warm-up is in store as we finish the weekend and head into early next week. The pollen count, we're waiting on it to increase. Once more in the medium category tomorrow and then into the medium-high category for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It's getting to that time of year when we get to our second allergen season, so that is something we're going to keep an eye on over the next several weeks. Seeing blue skies out there right now, temperatures a mix of 60s, 70s, and 80s. Enough of an onshore breeze to jitter around the camera a little bit from the Mark Hopkins Hotel. Mid-80s right now in Livermore and Concord, 70s in San Jose and Santa Rosa, 60s in San Francisco and in Oakland. Not seeing any fog from this perspective just yet, but it will spread out as we head through the rest of tonight. Starting off with some reduced visibilities, locally dense fog because it's going to be a compressed marine layer. That just means the fog gets really just kind of packed together near ground level, but it's going to dissipate quickly, backing up to the coast as we head towards late morning and even some clearing along the coast during the afternoon. Temperatures tonight dropping down to the 50s across the board, anywhere from the low 50s in the North Bay valleys to the upper 50s on the warm end of the spectrum, but that's not bad at all for early September. High temperatures tomorrow are going to reach up to about what's normal for this time of year, so close to 70 degrees in San Francisco once that morning fog dissipates. Temperatures inland will be warm, but not extreme, reaching up into the low 80s in Santa Rosa. Concord likely returning to the upper half of the 80s tomorrow afternoon, but that's only a degree above average. The normal high is 87. San Jose also very close to what's average for this time of year, topping out in the low to maybe mid-80s as you go a little bit farther inland in the Santa Clara Valley. Let's fill in the rest of the map. 60s along the coast, a mix of 60s and 70s around the bay, and then mostly 80s inland, with just the hottest spots getting up to around 90 degrees for Friday afternoon. Temperatures almost identical on Saturday, maybe a degree warmer, and then a bit of a bump for Sunday and Monday, but that only sends us farther into the 70s in both San Francisco and Oakland. And then we return to near normal temperatures by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. The hottest spots near 90 degrees for the North Bay Valley Sunday and Monday, while San Jose stays in the mid-80s. The inland valleys of the East Bay will return to the low 90s, but just for a couple of days. The air conditioners will get a little bit of a workout before we can let them relax once more by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Yeah.
Not much.
So